So it's been at least a month since my last video. The reason for that is mostly because of work. I would have liked to have been here finishing the roof, but I also need to continue living and making money. And I had some really fun jobs in the last month, which was great. But I wish it was still summer because it's getting wet everywhere and the roof is clearly not on. It's closer. I have 6 rafters, or depending on how you count, 3 rafter assemblies finished. That was mostly work done in the last day and a half. And I learned a lot, but I don't know if I can apply what I learned to the next 3 because it's a little bit difficult. The thing that I did not anticipate being so difficult was getting the straight line between peak to peak to peak correct. I thought, and I continue to think this actually, that if everything was precise to my measurements down here, that should take care of itself. What I didn't anticipate was actually how difficult it was going to be to get everything here precise, because unlike a 3D model, in reality, moving this up 1/8 of an inch and that way 1/8 of an inch, and then clamping it one-handed while you're afraid the whole thing's going to fall over is difficult. So I was able to get close and continued assembling the rafters thinking I was close enough, and then I actually stood up on the scaffolding and looked down the peak, and there was just a little bit more variance than I was hoping for. What's good is that from down here it looks all symmetrical. Like when you look down through it, there's equal space here to here to here to here, and I spent a lot of time today sort of assessing whether it was good enough, kind of swaying back and forth at the parallax, deciding whether I wanted to tear everything down and redo it, but I don't think I'm going to. I did stop a little early because this last one was really difficult. It had quite a bit of torsion in this 2x6, which caused the connection point up there to be less than ideal. And I also had tried a different technique with aligning everything, and that didn't really work out as well. And I'll show you why, or I'll show you the result, meaning that I'm going to have to shave this down because what I did on the last one was I pre-drilled this thinking I could maybe save some time and actually become more precise on where the bolt holes were. It may have been more precise in one dimension, but in this dimension it was clearly not. So I'll probably go back to the former technique, which was much slower, but potentially more accurate. The way I was doing it, which I'll continue the next one, is once I push the rafters up, I assemble them on the ground, push them up onto the scaffolding horizontally, and then flip them in one big motion and balance them, clamp them, and then I use these wedges to essentially little by little move them into position, because I know what the distance between this intersection and the girder should be. It's just difficult to get there, and it takes a lot of time. So I think I need at least one more day, unless I have an epiphany on how to finish these quicker. And then once the rafters are all finished, I'll tie them together with purlins every 2 feet, add the insulation, add the sheathing, and add the roofing. And then my poor floor will be protected from the rain, which has already kind of ruined it. So eventually I will replace it with fresh OSB subfloor TNG or 2x6 TNG decking. But for now, just calling this OSB a loss. because it's going to get very wet in the next few days. And OSB does not like moisture. That's it. I wish I had more to show, but this is all I got done. Happy autumn.